Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Galloway and Isbell podcast. My name is Thomas Galloway. To my right,
Noah Galloway.
and Noah, how are you doing?
Doing great. Feeling really tired. Had an exam this morning, and then I ran 14 miles this afternoon, so I feel pretty good.
Nice. Farther down the couch,
Evan Isabel.
and Evan, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a decent day at work today.
Yeah?
And not too tired, but I'm ready to do this pod.
Awesome.
For sure, dude.
And last but not least,
Hey, I'm Bharat Kawatra. I'm from India.
nice. How are you doing today?
Nice.
I'm doing awesome. Just had a long day with Evan.
Yeah?
Did a lot of shit.
Nice. You excited to be on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be on the podcast.
All right. Okay, so Evan, take us through what we're going to talk about today.
So today we're going to talk about just some, not hardcore philosophy, but me and Bharat were watching some very interesting videos. Well, he showed me some videos on like these kind of ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
And the video that we watched together, basically I'll run you through it real quick. It was about, it says, there's this hypothetical God type figure who every night when he goes to bed, he can dream any dream he wants, and he can manipulate his perception of time in each dream. So each night he goes to bed and has this whole lifetime experience in his dream. And so like at first he dreams about like, he goes to bed, he dreams, oh, I'm with all these girls, or I'm in this beautiful garden. And then like as he develops, he starts to realize, okay, I want something more energetic. So he dreams about these adventures and these wars and whatnot.
Danger.
And then, and danger.
Yeah.
And competitions and enemies. And
Exactly,
that kind of
enemies, things that make it a little bit more interesting. And then he realizes, what's more interesting than just making myself unaware that I'm in a dream? And like, how far can I push myself, you know?
Yeah.
And so it gets to the point where he dreams so in depth that like he's gone through thousands and millions and millions of dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, the video kind of alludes to the idea that at some point he will dream our life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
And at some point he's going to dream my life, he's going to dream your life, he's going to dream Bharat's life, he's going to dream Noah's life. And because of that, like, that's another allusion to this idea that our lives are precious and like all of our lives are unique, and the reason that they're precious is because they're unique.
Yeah, and he wants to get to the point where he's convinced himself that he's not in a dream.
Exactly.
Because I feel like sometimes when I'm in a dream, I have this sensation that I know I'm in the dream.
Mhm.
And then that's kind of disappointing in itself. Because
Mhm.
no matter how good it is, you're all in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, this is going to end at some point.
Exactly.
Probably at the best part.
Or that you're controlling it. Is that I
Yeah.
think that's the other thing that he's getting at, is that that's the other part of our life that's beautiful, is that we're not controlling
Right.
the outcome.
The uncertainty of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I think is Evan is like right, but he's not 100% right. The message I got from video is like, as we all are human beings, you know, we have wants, and we all kind of somewhere inner want to achieve everything, which is like becoming like God. So the Alan Watts, he says like, okay, let's do an experiment. Let's do just a thought experiment where we all have a power of God. And that power is, when you go to sleep, you can live a lifetime in that dream. So 8 hours of dreams equal to 75 years of you living. So we start the experiment, let's say, okay? And the first day, as we know, we have a power to dream anything we want, you know? And that dream would be like living a life, you know? So we dream everything we want to achieve in real life, you know? Like girls, money, cars, fame, power. And we keep dreaming like this, and you know, like we try to have everything we ever wanted, you know? And we keep living this dream until like a month, you know? A month is like 30 days, means 30 lives, you know? And at a point of time, after a month or so, depends on you, you get bored, because it's just so easy. Whatever you want, you get it. Then you think, oh, it's kind of becoming boring, let's dream something else which is like more entertaining. Then you start putting something in the dream, make it challenging, making, like, become a king, fighting wars, going on an adventure, which you cannot do in your real life, but you think it would be actually cool, like how people play games. People are interested in games because those are the things they actually can't do in real life.
Yeah.
Example, GTA Vice City. You own a city, you're a gangster,
Right.
so you cannot do that in real life, so it's kind of cooler, and then after living that for like a month or two, you get bored because still things are kind of predictable, like at first things were very predictable. You get whatever you wanted. Second, there were adventures, but you kind of decide what adventure do you want to go. After living 3 months, 4 months, basically 100 lives, you want to try something which is more fun, so then you go at a level where everything is unpredictable. There is infinite things that can happen to you, which is kind of unpredictable. So now actually when you dream that dream, you find out that it's your own life, because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
What's going to happen with you after 10 minutes. And so this is the way I got that video, like the message from the video was. And it was just a thought experiment where he like let us think that we have a power of God when we went to bed. And basically all that. Just
So
what do you think about it?
What are the implications of like this idea that we're in a, like, are you saying that we're in a dream right now? Yeah.
No, we are not in a dream right now.
Okay, so this
but
is just a thought experiment.
It is
like you
just a
said.
thought experiment, You end up becoming like a god to what you are right now. In your dreams, not in reality, in just your dreams.
So
But those dreams were kind of reality, because when you dream, can you differentiate between reality and a dream? No, right?
well, sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah, but it's a thought experiment. So basically his experiment was like, the implication was that our lives are precious, if so we always think that, oh, this would have happened, like I wish I could have done this, I wish I would have that power.
Yeah.
Basically he's trying to say is the real fun of life is what we have right now. The real fun of living your life is what we have right now. If everything will be predictable, the true sense of life will go away and it will become boring,
Yeah. I think this is
I
like
think that was the
it was
that
a lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the lesson is like we all kind of like want this easy lifestyle where we just choose what we want, like a king or something. And then he kind of shows us like, yeah, this is nice or whatever, but at the same time, this is not what makes life fun. Being able to just choose whatever you want.
Yeah, so basically he's giving you that power of becoming a god, but in dreams. That is just the way he thinks, because everybody, like, they may not pretend it, but deep down inside everybody wants to have power, in this world. Everybody wants to get their dreams fulfilled, and it's just a thought experiment where he demonstrate, okay, let's say you become a god for a night. You can live 75 years in 8 hours. I'm giving you a power. We are getting a power to live like a god, get whatever we want.
Yeah.
So how will we gonna choose it? We'll start getting bored. We'll find something which is more adventurous, and then more adventurous, and then more adventurous. Cause if we know everything, it's boring,
Exactly.
The real fun is to do what is unpredictable.
Yeah, that way you learn.
So he's trying to say, our life, which we are living right now, is fun. Everybody should enjoy it and live it.
Yeah, no matter what position. I mean, there's some positions where it's very hard to see the bright side of life, but I think this video is like saying, look at the bright side of life. And this video actually connects with the other video that, was it one of you showed us?
Yeah,
Noah?
yeah. So that was the Chinese farmer, and basically there was good fortune and bad fortune happening to the farmer in different times, and so something bad would happen to him, and the villagers would come and say like, oh shoot, that sucks for you, and then he would be like, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's bad, and then there would be something where it was a good fortune, and then he would be like, and then people would be like super stoked about him getting that good fortune, and then he's like, well, maybe it's not actually good, because then if something good happens to you, you may fall into complacency and not work as hard. But and so basically at the end of the video it said that we don't know if failures are actually good fortunes, and good fortunes are actually not good fortunes.
I think there's like two takeaways. Like, one is something good might end up being bad for you,
Right.
and something bad might end up being good for you. And then the other thing is I forgot. The other one. Let's see if I can remember what I was going to say. My brain just had
Well, what you're thinking, a lot of it is also about, like, a lot of those things he couldn't really control. They were just happening to him. To not get too caught up in whether he could have. A lot of people do worry about things and concern themselves with things they can't really control at all. So the idea that, okay, this is just a thing that's happening to me in my life. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's just part of it. And the same with that uncertainty, that you wouldn't want to always be good fortunes happening to you, and even if they did, they might not be good fortunes ultimately or not.
exactly.
Yeah, like he gives a lot of examples. Like one of them was when his horse just runs away, and people said that it is bad. Like, you know how people say around you, oh, that thing happened, it is bad. And the guy, being smart, says maybe it is bad, I don't know. Next day, the horse which ran brings 6 other wild horses. So the guy had more horses now. So the people said, oh wow, it is good. And the guy still says maybe. You know. So it just kind of shows how society reacts. And the guy is like a chill guy, and he's a wise guy, you know. He is not that emotional, so he's like, maybe he accepts the facts, he accepts life, you know. He doesn't try to fight it, because some people try to fight life. It could be good somewhere, it could be bad somewhere, you know. But with this guy, he just accepts it. And the same thing which is bad turns out to be good, and the good thing maybe turns out to the bad thing. Does it?
Yeah, and I was
And just like when something good happens to you, you instinctively don't know what to do, because you don't know how to improve, because you don't know what to improve upon, because you're doing everything well, and then you never get better. And so it's obviously really important to have bad things happen to you, so you know your weaknesses, and then you can grow upon that.
Yeah, that's a big thing in sports, where teams that win, even if they don't play up to their potential, they never improve themselves, because they said, well, we won, what are we supposed to do? And then eventually that catches up with them, because they were constantly not improving themselves, and they kept getting lucky or whatever it was, playing inferior teams. And whereas teams that lose are improving themselves and actually trying to get better.
Yeah. So this guy Alan Watts, which basically is like the speaker of these two videos and audios. I think both of the videos are like related to life, you know, how people live life and their wants and their demands. And like for the first video, he tells that, oh, let's try becoming a god and try fulfilling everything we want. Will it be fun? And later we find out that no, it will become boring after a time, and we'll enjoy the life we are living right now. And in the second video, he says that, oh, he tells about a story of a Chinese farmers, and good happens and wrong happens with him, but he accepts life, you know. And a thing which is bad turns out to be a good thing, and a thing which is good turned out to be a bad thing, because as we know, the horses, when the horse ran and he brought some few wild horses with him, people got excited and they were like, oh, that's a good thing. But the other day what happened? His own son, who was trying to ride one of those horses, fell and broke his leg. So that's a bad thing which was associated to a good thing, you know. And then all of a sudden, next day, people from army comes and they're looking for new young people who can join the army, you know. Maybe there's a world war going on. And the guy who broke his leg, the farmer's son, he could not go with them because of his injury.
Mhm.
That's a good thing, because people during wars, army just pick up a lot of young people and separate them to the family.
Mhm.
And so the real point, the main point is, you can't predict things, so accept it
Mhm.
and try finding good in it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna start sending this video to anytime I miss out. If I miss an appointment or something, I'm just gonna send this video and be like, maybe it's not a bad thing that I didn't make this final exam.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Right.
Mrs. Teacher.
So
Yeah,
I
because
think
now you study harder.
Send it to your
and
parents
just
when you
do
get a good
well,
bad grade.
better and better. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest counter arguments to the whole idea of this video of things happening to you and trying to accept that, and we talked about this in another podcast a little while ago about meditation, of becoming basically too zen.
Mhm.
And my example was Martin Luther King Jr.
Too zen.
He didn't, no, the opposite. He didn't let things happen to him and to his people. If everybody was just accepting things the way they are, you wouldn't get people like that.
Yeah.
Who are like,
Right.
no, we're not going to take this. We're going to do something about it to change the situation and not be not try to be content with anything.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a really fine balance in situations like that. And I think one thing that ultimately happens is these people who are constantly trying to improve things for everybody have to live with the burden of never being satisfied with anything. And that's the conundrum for them, is that they're stuck in the situation, whereas the things they do still do benefit a large group of people. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that maybe some people are just that's their job in life, is to Teddy Roosevelt had this idea of the strenuous life. And his idea was that some people, that's their life. They live this strenuous life for the benefit of everybody else, and they're never just happy with the way things are.
Right.
And so I think that's ultimately the balance that's really difficult for all of us to find, is to, okay, I'm going to be content with this situation, but also, can I make this better in some way?
Now that you're speaking about this, this does seem like an ideology. You have to be looking at this like, okay, this is, I'm going to say maybe it's a good thing, to things that are random. Like you can't, I think this is an ideology that maybe governments or religious groups could push in order to get their members to be more complacent with their lives.
Yeah.
If I was in charge of my employees, I would definitely be put and all of a sudden we got hit with a bunch of layoffs or something. I would be saying, hey guys, sometimes maybe it's a bad thing, but maybe it's a good thing. So this is definitely an ideology that you could push on people in order to get them to be more complacent where in some situations it's not like this is like a pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of ideology, where it's like in your situation, the Martin Luther King Jr. situation, it's no, maybe some of the things that are happening to this community, maybe it's not a maybe whether it's good or bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
See, nowadays a lot of people talk about American dream. It's like working hard, achieving your goal, and it's good. It is doing good to a society, but what is coming with it is depression. A lot of successful people, if you look really deep inside their life, they're depressed, because I think the way it works, it turns out is, if I am living an American dream, what I'm supposed to do is fix a goal, achieve it, and then I'll be happy for an hour, a day, a month, and then I want another goal, and that is my new goal now, and I'll go towards that. I'll work hard day and night, sleeping 4 hours a day, grinding all day, and then achieving that goal. And how long will I happy be? For 1 hour, 1 day, a week, a month.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, Alan Watts, he was born in London, but he was kind of more inclined toward Eastern philosophy, Buddhism. They talk about being just satisfied, what you have. So what the main difference is, Alan Watts is saying, if you remain satisfied your life, in every condition, you have a steady state of mind, you are maybe happy or maybe just neutral. with everything what happens. Whereas if you think of hardworking, achieving goals, and all of this type of mentality, we get happiness, but the question is it lasting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of, I was thinking about kind of a counter argument to that Chinese farmer video. I was thinking about when sometimes you'll ask someone how they're doing, and they'll say, or like how's life going, and they'll say it's going, as if like it's some ball that's rolling down a hill that they can't stop, and they can't change their situation, and they can't get better, and like they're helpless.
Yeah, like this is some sort of inevitable thing,
Right.
and it's whether or not things are going good for me is out of my control. Which sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it is.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
one of those people that believe that no matter what situation is in your way, you can overcome it. There's some
Yeah.
people, unfortunately, like you can find a way to make things better, but where, let's say, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you're not gonna reach that goal,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
But I mean, it all depends on what your goals are and where you're at, and that has to be very individual.
yeah, the distinction you talked about earlier is the important thing: what you can control and what you can't, and really being serious with yourself about what those situations actually are, and that's all you can really rely on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to get back to the uncertainty aspect of things and being okay with uncertainty. That's a big thing that I've been thinking about. Is I think most people do not enjoy uncertainty. They want things to be comfortable and have questions answered and all that, and that leads them to convincing themselves of irrational things and believing in those so that they can just satisfy those unanswered questions and not have to live with uncertainty. But I think and he talks about this a little bit, as we mentioned in that first video, and the second part of it, inventing or creating some kind of adventure, some kind of danger that gives him that uncertainty. And I've just really tried to do things that make myself comfortable with uncertainty, being comfortable in those uncomfortable situations.
No.
And that's been really helpful. And
Yeah.
now it just doesn't really bother you. Just like uncertain situations or discomfort is just a part of your day. And you don't really try to get out of it. That's another big part of Buddhism
Yeah.
too. It's just like, and they talk about that in ultra marathoners and other endurance athletes, is the minute you crave to be done with that event is the minute you're done, but done mentally, because you just have to treat it one step at a time and not think, oh, I want this to be over. Just think, okay, I'm going to be here for the next 3, 6, 24 hours, whatever it is. And just say, this is what I'm doing. Even if it's really painful, this is just what I'm doing.
Yep. That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah, some people may think that he's just trying to say, oh, never take risks in your life. Oh, if you have a goal, never go towards it. But what he's really trying to say is, you shouldn't run away from difficulties, but during the time of difficulties, you should be happy. You should never lose hope, you know, that, oh, I am the unlucky one, you know. He's saying, so everybody lives that dream, you know, and when they live that dream, they found that it's themselves. So we all are kind of living the same dream of uncertainty, you know.
Right.
So living the thought of becoming mortal and achieving whatever you want is not, we should leave that dream and like kind of go towards, if the things are going uncertain, be happy and work through it, you know, because people panic out. They just panic, you know, because that farmer, if his horse ran, he could have panicked out, you know.
And yeah, let's say he did panic and he
Yeah.
went and tried to find his horse, and he found his horse before his horse brought the 6 horses back.
Yeah.
And like, it would have made it so that this good thing, this supposedly good thing, the video makes a point to saying there's no such thing as good or bad thing, but like I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a good thing that 6 horses came. That's benefit. But if he would have caught his horse before his horse had gotten out, or before his horse found the other horses, he wouldn't have made that benefit. And this is something that reminds me of another podcast I listen to, a meditation podcast, where they talk about when humans wake up in the morning, a lot of us, we wake up very stressed and we're thinking about, okay, how am I going to get to work on time? How am I going to get my food? And we spend so much time stressing that we miss things important. Like we forget to stretch, we forget to like do these very minimal things and just be relaxed. And because we're not relaxed, we miss out on a lot of opportunities. We maybe miss out on an opportunity with a friend, or maybe we miss out on an opportunity to get another job opportunity. And her example is like, be like a lion. A lion, when they wake up, they're not super stressed about this and that. They just wake up and they stretch. They stretch right away. Like if you watch videos, can you attest to this?
Right.
Animals like when they wake up they stretch, right? You're the
Absolutely,
animal guy, right?
For sure, dude. Yeah, let's go with that.
So like animals, cats, when they wake up they stretch and they're relaxed. And this tiger, she walks you through this travel of a tiger, and this tiger wakes up and it goes through this field and it's relaxed and it's just going for a walk and enjoying the sun, and then all of a sudden it sees this elk. Is that what they eat? Elk.
Something
Bison?
different.
Bison.
Like
Maybe
what eats
deer.
bison?
Elk.
deer, antelope,
Tiger or lion? What's a lion eat?
Gazelle.
Gazelle, yeah. Okay, we're switching from tiger to gazelle to lion because I forgot it was a lion. But anyway, it's a lion. This lion sees this beautiful gazelle and it's like, I'm hungry. And it goes and chases it and it eats it. And if it had been stressed the whole day, it would have missed all these opportunities.
Yeah.
It would have missed this walk through this beautiful scenery, and it would have missed this beautiful gazelle that would become his lunch.
I see where he's coming from. It's like, the tiger woke up. If he would be a human being, a normal college kid, he'll be worrying about, I'm gonna find my food today or not, or I'm gonna just die with hunger.
Yeah.
And okay, he could have waked up like without stretching, without actually, living your life. He could have just, I'm hungry. I'm supposed to find my food. I'll just go and like get on hunt. But
There's no
what-
gazelles out
But
there.
what he does is like, he enjoys his life.
Yeah.
He stretches. He takes a walk. He's actually living life, and by doing that, he actually finds a food too, and he's happy with it.
Because if we're tense, so the other analogy is that if he didn't stretch, his muscles would have been not ready for that run to catch that gazelle. You got to be prepared. You got to be relaxed to take these opportunities when they come.
Yeah, so apparently, gazelles, sometimes like people will chase gazelles for a long period of time to try to catch them and eat them. And so gazelles will run for a long period of time till they get out within, so they can't see the human who's chasing them. And then they'll like sit there and then wait and just like watch, just like look around, and the human will catch up. And then they'll run again. Then eventually the gazelle just gets tired out, and the human eats them.
Because the gazelle can run fast but not long.
Yeah, who told you
Right.
that?
You did, yeah.
Wow. Dude, wait,
Yeah,
why do you
there's-
guys know so much about running? Is it like you
there's-
guys run a lot?
Something like
yeah,
that. Did we
I
ever mention
mean-
that before?
Yeah,
That's
it's-
crazy. We've never talked about that.
How
That's
far do you
crazy.
guys even run? Because I can't imagine it being more than like 3
Dude,
or 4
I did-
miles.
Oh,
I did
please,
14
brother.
miles today.
You did 14
Yeah,
miles?
dude.
That's
Oh my
10
God.
more
Yeah.
miles than I thought you could do.
that's probably more than we drive today.
For real.
Yeah, but there's actually some small tribes in South Africa that they don't really exist anymore because it's not for some reason. But they used to
Globalization,
do.
whatnot.
Yeah, and they used to be. They would literally run down gazelles or antelopes until they just passed out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy, and that's
human
what they
race.
do. That's how intelligent these antelopes are. They will run out until they can't see anymore, and then just wait till they can see you again, and then just sprint off for a while. And it can vary the number of hours it takes to actually catch these guys, but eventually they'll just collapse and die. And a big part of it is because they can't sweat, and so
Oh.
they can't. They just basically they don't realize that they can't keep going. They just pass out. It's pretty interesting.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I wonder what that does to the meat, because like if it can't
Yeah.
sweat, it's internalizing all this.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
How does sweat work? What is sweat?
I don't know, but one of the reasons we're good at long distance running is as humans is because we can sweat and we don't have to pant.
You know what's one of the most embarrassing things in my life? It's like when I'm all out sprint and I look to my left and there's this bunny and it goes past like nothing. And I'm like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like why are we so
disappointing.
slow? But we got the distance. But you can't be
Yeah.
like, yo, I got that distance.
Yeah.
Right.
I have another analogy, or your tiger and elk, or a lion and antelope, or whatever we're going with.
Uh-huh.
This serves as a nice analogy for something in my life that, who knows how it come across, but you know how you're talking about instead of thinking, oh, the lion's freaking out, like, oh, when am I going to come across a gazelle or whatever?
Mhm.
But they see a gazelle, and they're just like, oh, okay, there's a gazelle. So in my life, sometimes we think like, okay, when am I going to see a woman I can approach? Am I going to be nervous and all that? For my life, I just walk around, and I've gotten to the point where I'm just kind of, oh, there's a woman that I can go approach and ask on a date. And I'm not really freaking out about like, oh, when am I going to see, you know, when's opportunity going to arise? It's there, and it's just part of my day.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is appropriate. That's more appropriate than doing the other response, being stressed out and being like, what am I going to do? I need to find a mate. And then like being like, I have to find out about her. Instead of being like the calm, collected person, the tiger, the lion, walking up to her and being like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And talking to her yourself. The inappropriate thing to do is what people think, for some reason, I think is the appropriate thing to do, and just like let it be.
Yeah.
But by letting it be, you never find out, hey, does this girl have a boyfriend? Hey, maybe this girl is interested in me. Hey, this and that. And then like you end up stalking her on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
Yeah. Well, this even comes back to the other video, the maybe video.
The maybe.
Maybe she says yes. Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Maybe. Maybe she says no. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, you never
Maybe
know.
she says no, and next moment we find a better girl than her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
see her again, and now she says yes. Or she follows you on Instagram later because she had to say no at the time because you had a boyfriend, but
She doesn't anymore.
she doesn't anymore.
Or doesn't
This happened
care.
to you?
Did I ever mention that?
But maybe, this is the other maybe, maybe she says no, and then you look in the obituaries, and then like she's killed a bunch of people.
Oh, I think because she's dead.
Or
It's
her
like-
boyfriend's dead. Yeah.
All kinds of good things can happen.
She died from spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
Your body just catches on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing about that maybe video that it reminded me of a quote, a Winston Churchill quote, which was, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." And that's something I really like, because I'm really about just going for things, and a lot of times you fail, but just to not let it bother you. And it can be really difficult, but I think you get to a certain point where you're kind of calloused against failure mostly. Like, it's always going to bother you a little bit. But it doesn't, like, the enthusiasm part of it I really like. Like, it doesn't dampen your enthusiasm at all. You're still just ready to go for the next opportunity that comes along. And your previous failures don't affect whether you go for the opportunity or not.
And I think that has a testament to your enthusiasm level. Because
Yeah.
what I've noticed with you guys is your enthusiasm level, it gets high, but it never goes like skyrockets. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Right.
important to have this kind of, I'm going to maintain my enthusiasm level, my motivation level pretty high, but it's not going to get to the point where I burn myself out.
Yeah. Well, that, not to bring up running again, but that is one thing that has taught me, is you can't get too pumped up for a long run. Like, if you get too pumped up for a long run, you're just a couple miles in, you're done.
Exactly.
And, like, I was talking with someone the other day, and they're asking me they're asking me what I listen to get pumped up and stuff. I just don't get pumped up. I just, like, listen to podcasts or something. Like, it's just, like, you can't get too pumped up for that stuff. And that's partly where I learned to not get too overly enthusiastic for certain things.
Because you go into a situation, exact same thing with the talking to a girl. You shouldn't get pumped up for talking to a girl. Like, what kind of girl, what person would be super excited to see this person come up and be like freaking out, like super energetic? Just like, calm up. If someone approaches me, the best thing is like a soft, warm smile.
Yeah.
Calm, relaxed affect, and just being interested in me. That's what makes me interested in another person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thinking about calm and getting excited is getting excited is just another stage of getting tensed.
Yeah.
Because if you compare getting tensed and getting excited, they're kind of similar feeling, but they're not that similar. But at the same time, it's like you just feel something is same.
Yeah.
So my simple question is, did anyone ever did great to this world while he was tensed or highly enthusiastic? Oh, I'm gonna change this whole world today. Does it ever happen?
It didn't happen once in a day. Like,
Yeah.
No.
If you look out throughout the history, when are the greatest thing discovered or made or done?
Yeah.
when people are walking through, a garden, when somebody is playing a guitar, there are examples of Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, like most of the great people. If you read their autobiographies and all that stuff, they'll always say, how did they find the solution of a problem? When they were doing something relaxed, like
When they were showering,
calm,
when
Yeah.
they
they
were
were showering. That's how you get your great ideas. Like
Right.
why do you every time get solutions of a problem when you're in the bathroom
Yeah.
You're showering?
Yeah.
Because you're calm at that time,
Mhm.
because you're calm, you're not that much enthusiastic about their problem or not
Mhm.
that tensed, but you have a calm state of mind.
Yeah.
And you can, like, it just clears it, and you can, like, think clearly. Oh, so this thing should have been done like this way. Oh,
Mhm.
it was so simple.
Yeah.
I could have done it. But
exactly.
that enthusiasm, or that, like, being tensed is like just blocking that idea. It is just like a wall,
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
you mentioned changing the world, and that's like most things that are difficult to do. You can't really just do it with enthusiasm. You need more than that.
Exactly.
Because you'll get worn out. You won't get
Yeah.
too far into the project or whatever.
This reminds me of a saying that I saw in the locker room, not the locker room, but where the Iowa State football team has their training. It says culture beats scheme, and what I took that to mean was that doing something, making something your culture, making something your daily life, beats a short-term scheme.
Yeah.
Beats a thing that you're like, oh, I want to get this, and you just do it 1 week and it fails,
Absolutely, yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really like about sports is those life lessons basically become distilled down into a game or a season or whatever. And you actually see them play out. And you're like, okay, that's where these cliches that seem kind of dumb, they actually are true and they exist for a
Exactly.
reason. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to cover?
I think we covered it all.
I think we
That was
did.
pretty good.
That was-
I
Enjoyed
can't
that.
wait till our next podcast. I feel like we're on a roll
Absolutely.
lately.
Absolutely.
It's-
I was
been so
just
good.
trying to relate that stress and being calm situation. I was just trying to find a good example. So what I think is, like, let's say a simple game of football, and now you'll say, oh, if you have you ever been to a football, like, room where they get dressed up?
Mhm.
Have you ever seen how enthusiastic they are?
Mhm.
This means, like, you are wrong. You should never. You shouldn't be calm, and you should be like, oh, pumped up to do stuff. I'll say no, cause what they're doing at the time is they are replacing their emotion of nervousness with
Yeah.
enthusiasm
Mhm.
when they're inside that
Mhm.
locker room.
Mhm.
Everybody's trying to, like, get rid of cause they are the same thing. A same thing will replace a same thing.
Yeah.
And I think this is more of this could be seen as more of a ritual.
Right, like a
then-
chemistry team building.
Right.
Yeah.
type of
But
thing, yeah.
but when they go to the field, where they're actually performing,
They're focused.
like real life situation, they are calm, they're
Yeah.
focused. If a
Yeah.
person is not focused, he'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at all the
Simple.
best tennis players when they're playing. It's not like they're freaking out.
Right.
Like when you see tennis players being the most emotional they are, it's when they've lost.
Yeah.
You
So
know, you never see
yeah, that's
someone
true.
banging the racket because they lost. They won.
Same
They-
goes
you
with
know,
shooters too. Like, long distance shooters.
Mhm.
They need to be that calm, like so calm that they can control their heartbeats.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
perfect snipers, they have the ability to control the heartbeat. Cause even a single heartbeat can change, like, the whole range of, like, the shot. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, poker is a good example of that too.
Do you play poker?
Have I ever mentioned that? Man, I keep forgetting to tell you guys about my life. Yeah, we were playing 8 hours a day.
Oh
in
wow.
Tournaments, like you can't get too high and too low.
That's a
over
long
anything.
time.
It is a long time. It's crazy. It's crazy how many things relate to poker and all that
Mhm.
stuff.
We should talk about poker next time.
We probably
Yeah, we
should.
should,
That'd be
yeah.
fun.
And talking about focus and, like, trying to connect it through meditation. There are a lot of type of meditation, and one of them is, like, you do some hand gestures, maybe connecting your thumb to a finger. Everybody has different styles. This is, like, one of a type of meditation is, like, you connect your thumb and your finger every time you meditate,
Mm-hmm.
and it is like controlling your psychology.
Mm.
Because when you're meditating, you're in calm state, and our brain is kind of some reflection, like some of the emotions are automatic. They'll come automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Cause what happens, cause you see, it's a psychology, as you're a psychological major, right? Like you're studying psychology. There have been researches done that. For example, let's pick up an example of a dog. You know,
The Pavlov's dog.
the
Right,
dog.
right,
The dog.
yeah.
When he sees a food, his drool just starting
Mhm.
like dropping. You know.
Yeah, and then they would pair it with like a sound, and then all they had to do was make the sound, and not even he can't even see or smell the food, and then he starts to drool.
Yeah.
And so that's what this finger
yeah,
thing you're talking
yeah.
about is.
So-
we do this when we meditate, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden we do this because we've meditated and we relate this. Our mind relates doing this.
With meditation.
With
So some
meditation.
people are so expert and like they are doing this particular kind of meditation, and like if certain things like are not going to their way, or like a fight broke out or something happened, they'll just do that same move, like a same posture they do during meditation is like which they join a finger with a thumb, and the brain will be like, oh, now it's supposed to calm down, and they'll fool their brain
Yeah.
and get calmed down. So this is like a really like some deep meditation technique.
It's like life hacking.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like basically
That's awesome.
hacking your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was kind of thinking about sports and life lessons, and I've talked about this before, but one of my greatest life lessons was I was playing this game last year, and I missed all my shots during the game. I missed like 6 or 7 straight, and then I got the ball with 8 seconds left, and we were down by 2, and then I hit a 3-pointer, and we won the game. It was one of the biggest wins of our season, and I was thinking about like the fact that a bunch of failures does not predetermine like what's going to happen next,
Exactly.
and you're always one shot away from making it or having at least a little bit of momentum to keep going.
Yeah.
So true.
It's a good place to end. We definitely have more to
Yeah.
talk about for future podcasts.
That was some awesome talks.
For sure.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was really fun.
Yeah, we can definitely go into some more stuff in future podcasts. For Thomas Galloway.
Noah Galloway.
Evan Isabel.
Bharat Kawatra.
Everyone, have a great night.